So, how do you buy a property in the UK? So, in this video, what I thought is I'm going to help you at least understand the process of buying a house in the UK. Now, every type of property transaction may differ, from your standard investment buy-to-lets, which I've got a video for shortly, or your commercial properties, or just your residential homes. And for this particular video, I'm just going to talk about the stuff that you will have to go through for each of those. So this is quite a generic video, but some of these things may help you at least understand the process so you don't feel overwhelmed. Because if you're anything like me, my first house transaction was very overwhelming. I felt I needed to control everything. But that's not necessarily what you need to do. So there's a few steps then that I want to jump straight into that you need in order to purchase a property in the UK. Now the first is to know your budget. Now that might sound really simple, but you have to know your budget. And what I actually mean by that is your affordability. So this is where it's really important that you get a mortgage broker to advise you on your affordability. But if you speak to a mortgage broker and you let them know your income, your savings, your stocks, your shares, or any sort of other properties or investments that you have, they can then tell you based on your current situation how much you can afford. And another great thing is they can then tell you what lenders are out there and which lenders are available to you. And then the procedure is simple. Once you fill out the forms, and there is a lot of forms in this game, with your mortgage broker, you can normally get yourself an AIP or an MIP. Now effectively what that stands for is an agreement in principle or a mortgage in principle. And all that is basically a sheet of paper that they can do within 24 hours, which will tell you that you can apply for a loan up to the amount written on the AIP or the MIP and purchase a property. Now obviously there will be some constraints within that. There will be a certain amount of money you would need to put in. Unfortunately, you can't get just a loan where somebody's just going to buy a house for you, so you do need to sometimes put stuff in. There are some clever ways where you can use stuff like vendor financing or equity release from your own home, but we'll save that for another video. Now just before I move over to point 2, there is a key point here I want you to know. Just because the AIP or the MIP provides you an amount that you can use, and you know then in your bank you have X amount to spend, please make sure that you have a little bit more set aside, because you're going to need this little bit more for a few reasons. You're going to need to worry about legal fees, relocation costs, maybe a little bit of sprucing up the place, a bit of renovation, and also one of the things that many people often overlook is your stamp duty. So you have to make sure that these are the things that you look for. Now there is a video coming out on stamp duty as well, and I will say at this point I have 50 videos scheduled, so you're going to see me bombarding you consistently with information, because I've put together all of the information I've learned throughout my 8 years of being a landlord and a property investor, and all of the courses that I wasted a lot of money on that I don't want you to go and waste money on, and I'm going to give you that for free in these videos. Point number 2, you got to find the house. So now that you've found this house, whether it's an investment vehicle or whether it's somewhere that is your dream home or somewhere that you just want to live for the time being, you need to find it. So once you've found it and you've thought, right, I have this much amount of money available, you need to put an offer down. Now, generally speaking, a lot of houses, especially initially, will be on the market, the open market. And what I mean by that is you can find it online or you can find it through an estate agent. Now, your main thing here is to get the price agreed with the estate agent or with the vendor, the person selling it. And once that is agreed, you want a memo of sale. So normally speaking, what they normally ask you for is proof of funds, which will come through your AIP and MIP, or just a bank statement. Because if some of you have the cash ready to buy without a mortgage, then fantastic. Just show them a bank statement, and then you want a sale memorandum to come through. And at this point, they will move you over to point 3. Now, point 3 is to get yourself a solicitor, because you need the conveyancing done from ideally somebody who knows what they're doing. Now, I have seen people do this themselves, but I really wouldn't recommend it. Even now, I think having the right people in the right place is one of the keys to being successful in property. So get yourself a good solicitor, get yourself somebody who knows the process of buying a house, and then leave all of that to them. When they ask you to sign stuff or get documentation verified, obviously do that. But the rest of it, in terms of the searches and just doing all the ins and outs and the due diligence, leave the solicitors to it. They can advise you and they will be the best point of contact. And just so you know, in case you're getting confused, because this happened to me once, there may be a few solicitors dealing with the transaction. So generally speaking, the buyer, i.e. yourselves, will be having a solicitor acting on your behalf, and then the seller will also have a solicitor too. Now when you start getting involved in more complex stuff such as the bridging or having a third party lender, you may have additional solicitors who provide independent legal advice. We'll save that for another video, but just be wary that you may see 2 solicitors just in case that confuses you. Point number 4. Now this is a point you actually can't do much about other than wait. Yes, point number 4 is to wait, because one thing you're going to realize with the property industry, and I'm talking now in 2020 in case you're watching this in the future, is it's a very slow process. Unless you have the ability to buy at auction or buy cash there and then, you're generally looking at 8 to 12 weeks for a normal house sale or purchase. And in this time, you're going to be waiting. Point 5. Now at this point, you want to start doing some of the stuff to protect your investment moving forward. So you want to look for insurance. So if you're a landlord, i.e. you're going to buy an investment property, you need to be looking for landlord insurance. If you're going to buy a residential home, then you need to insure the building itself, just in case something happens. And this is something that the legal team, i.e. your solicitors, will ask for proof of. Point number 6. Signing paperwork. Now essentially you're going to have to exchange and you're going to have to complete, and generally speaking you can do these on the same day, and a lot of my transactions I have done on the same day, where you exchange and then you complete. So effectively an exchange comes just before the completion, which is where you give the deposit into the solicitor's account, and then they will do their own AML check, which is anti-money laundering checks, and they will make sure that their money has come from a right place. I hope it comes from a right place. And then they will literally get you to sign something that makes you legally obligated to now commit to your part of the deal. And then the completion, well, that's the fun stuff. That's where the money has been transferred, and if you've got a lender, i.e. a mortgage company coming in, they will then release the funds either to pay off the seller or the person who owns the asset, and then the property is yours. And that's the fun day. That's the day where you can finally get the keys to your new property. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I have 50 videos created. I have promised many people that I was going to be doing a free comprehensive training course where I promise you that you can save yourself at least the first 15 to 20,000 pounds of your investment, which I hope that you put into an actual investment. You do not need anything from anyone that you can't find through my videos. I promise you, I have all the material and I will be going through every single bit of it for you for absolutely free. Of course, I offer a 15-minute conversation if anyone is interested, for a 2-hour block once a week, and in that conversation it is just something about this video. I'm not a mentor, I'm not a coach, and I have nothing to sell you, but what I will do is elaborate on anything I've said in here that doesn't make sense, because I want these videos to make sense, and if worst case scenario I have to do them again, I'll do them again. But I really want this to kind of be the ultimate blueprint for just helping you navigate your way through property, because it takes a lot more knowledge than these course operators and people say, and that's why sometimes I say it's easier to teach than to do. But make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell so you're informed when I start bombarding you with these informational videos. I really hope you do find them useful. Drop some comments down below as well if there's something else you want me to help you with, and until next time, thanks for watching.